Milan Richter, poeta slovacco da Bratislava, e sarà presentato da Andrea Tavernati.
Nella poesia slovacca contemporanea, Milan Richter, nato a Bratislava nel 1948, appartiene alla generazione che ha dovuto fare i conti con la normalizzazione della politica culturale, dopo che le truppe del patto di Varsavia hanno invaso la Cecoslovacchia. Non meno significativa è la questione del destino degli ebrei slovacchi e cechi durante la Seconda Guerra Mondiale, dato che ad Auschwitz è stata assassinata una parte della sua famiglia. Dopo aver studiato presso l'Università Comenius di Bratislava, ha lavorato come redattore in case editrici e riviste letterarie ed è stato il primo rappresentante ufficiale dell'ambasciata slovacca in Norvegia. Ha pubblicato 9 libri di poesia in slovacco e diversi lavori teatrali, mentre antologie dei suoi testi sono stati tradotti in tutto il mondo. Nella poesia di Richter, grandi questioni antropologiche ed aneddotica familiare si combinano in un bisogno di autoespressione che rimane in bilico tra sogno e realtà. Tutto rifluisce in racconti che sembrano avere la stessa sospensione astratta della novellistica ebraica. Da qui la sua oscillazione tra il sentimentale e il distanziamento oggettivo, tra solennità lirica e ironia pungente. In fondo egli sembra dirci che la realtà umana è fatta soprattutto da percezioni e dalla capacità straordinaria che abbiamo di trasfigurare il vissuto in mitologia personale e collettiva, cioè in quella memoria che è al tempo stesso apertura all'immaginazione, al fantastico e alla irrinunciabile magia della vita.
I think the presentation made by Andrea Tavernati is the best I have ever received, you know. That nobody is prophet in his or her own country. I will start with a poem which has been translated into more than 20 languages, Roots in the Air. It starts, it's a dialogue poem. Unfortunately, you will get the last line before it is told by me. But okay, it's a dialogue poem, and the quotation is from Paul Celan, a famous Jewish German-speaking Jewish poet. Roots in the air. In the air, that's where your roots are, over there in the air. Where to, doctor? Cemetery? Yes, my friend, making my grave rounds. Our mother's there, my brother too, and the wife's niece buried last year, only 17, leukemia it seems. And you, sir? Home. The days are getting shorter. I like to stay home now. You visited your graves already? I have no graves. My wife deserted me a long time ago, as you may know. My sons are alive, but far away in Canada, yes, Canada, I have no graves. But what about your mother, your father, brothers, grandparents? Where are they buried? Over there, in the air over Auschwitz, they buried in the air. Yeah, actually, two-thirds of my family, brother family, were murdered by the Germans, by the Nazi Germans, in the concentration camps. Now, this poem is a spoiled poem. It's a spoiled poem. You cannot do anything with it like you cannot do with your life. It is one of my most successful poems. So sometimes you think something is spoiled, something is not worth anything, and maybe it is still worth something. Back there at the beginning, you spoiled something, a syllable, a word, a vowel, and now the poem is inedible, like preserved strawberries with a cap of mold. Back there at the beginning, someone spoiled something, the Lord, the 24th pair of chromosomes, and now the poem is buried like a prayer shawl in a mass grave. Back there, at the beginning, you spoiled something, you got married, were divorced, and now the poem is snatched away like the son from his father and the father from his son. Back there at the beginning, someone spoiled you, didn't give you sharp elbows or a dull conscience, and now the poem is in trouble like a jester who told the king the truth. The poem is spoiled. There is something missing, too late to put it right, like your life, your ancestors, history. It remains as it is, a strawberry in fermenting sugar. Now, yes, this is it then in Slovak. You will read it and I will read it in Slovak. This is it's a poem against the communist regime, but I pretend when I read it that it's a love poem, because it is at the same time also a love poem. That was written on the 16th January 1989. That was the day when Václav Havel and his friends were arrested in Prague at the statue of Saint Wenceslav, you know, on the horse. And I was like scheduled. I was not scheduled at that time to meet my love, a girl who used to be a girl, and I was like in my 30s, and we had a love affair. And then 10 years later, like this is 10 years later, I pretend that if we were scheduled to meet, what would happen? And this is what would happen if we were scheduled to meet. But in reality, we met 35 years later. I mean, from the affair, so 25 years later, after I wrote the poem. Nikdy o druhej u koňa. Keby sme sa mali raz stretnúť, nepovedz o druhej u koňa na Václaváku, ani o 5. Mohla by si tá prísť už ošklbaná o 10 rokov, na 10 ďalších rokov, a ja by som horel až blčal a hneď by tam boli zvedavé tváre a bijúce ruky a dážď by nás kropil zo všetkých strán a zhora by nás chránila ruka Boha milencov a ja by som ti chcel dať kvet alebo bosk alebo knihu, no prišli by civilní poslušníci, roztrhali ten kvet, bosk, tú knihu a zatiaľ, čo by nás odvádzali, nakrúcali by to všetky televízne týmy a ešte v ten večer vysielali a nikto by neuveril, že sme tam prišli ohlásení, no so strachom, že sa nespoznáme, lebo to malo byť naše prvé rande po 10 rokov. And this now comes Grandmother Deutsch. Yeah, Grandmother Deutsch, that was, you know, a name, or are still names of Jewish people, Deutsch, even if they are Slovaks and Jews. Well, it's the irony of the world. And it is history of my grandmother Deutsch, and also a part of my history. Grandmother Deutsch, one autumn morning at the end of the last century, left her father Hermann, her mother Netta, and the house in the village of Deutsch, and by wagon along field paths, woods and meadows, went to marry the butcher's son in the village of Unin. That's how I see her, the young girl Josephine, color of eyes blue, shape of nose straight, no special marks, as the official at district police headquarters in Skalica noted on her identity card half a century later, 2 months before her death. I missed her life. I came too late. Her arteries were already sclerotic. She feared for her grandsons, accused the daughter-in-law, "You've locked the boys up in the beer cellar. They'll get eaten by the rats," although we were peacefully sleeping in the nursery. Between the wars, she married off both daughters. Her sons' mistresses were never kosher enough. She buried her husband before they could put him on a transport. With her granddaughter and son, she survived the pogroms in the Seret camp. Her daughter, sons-in-law, even the grandson Harry, did not return from the Polish camps. That lousy war in the village, no one felt guilty. Her strength waned, the land needed tending. Josephine yielded, the son, already on the threshold of old age, was allowed to marry. I remember an old woman, forever in bed, long gray hair, which our mother brushed for her. The smell of elderly urine, the pungent smell of liquid manure running over the yard, father in jospers and high boots watching her, short of breath, the big Jewish mother who, in snatches of full consciousness, propped up by high-piled pillows, surrounded by grandchildren and kids from neighborhood, with her commands held all life on a tight rein, as well as death, which was stalking round her room, house, barn, disguised in the end as officials confiscating potatoes and grain, the first punitive commandos of my time. Well, I am also a translator. I translated, for example, Goethe's Faust, Rilke, 4 books of Rilke, also Duino Elegies. You who read Duino Elegies, you know what kind of labor and work it is behind it. And once I was, and some of my friends, we were scheduled to arrive in Duino, in the castle where he actually started writing Duino Elegies, a little bit more than 100 years ago. And then they said, no, you cannot. And they brought us to Gorica, which is, or Gorizia, which is a small village, or maybe a town, or on the border, Italian-Slovenian border. And this is what happened there. And you know, these kind of encounters is something very special. Noble people behave like this. I was knighted by the Norwegian king, so I am the knight of the first class, but still, you know, I am not a noble man. And at that time I was not knighted, so I was still a normal Slovak poet, an ordinary one. Silence with Rilke. Duino stays with the angels invisible. The Count flew to London. The audience is cancelled. However, the Baroness would like to remember. The book of Marie von Thurn und Taxis lies on the table, a handwriting as beautiful and mysterious as those times. On this estate, while fleeing, the French Dauphins found a hiding place and a shelter. Surely Rilke used to come here for tea when he got tired of Duino. We can guess why. We join in silence with his invisible breath. The Baron remembers those times in 3 languages of the old empire. Slovaks were excellent subjects. And yet, when parting, he shakes our hand with his living one. The encounter of 2 worlds can be an encounter of the 3rd kind. One of the poets in the world that I admire most is Thomas Tranströmer. He got the Nobel Prize in 2011, and since 1983 he was my friend, or I was his friend. I translated his collected poems into Slovak, because I studied also Swedish, so I can speak and understand Swedish. And we met many times in Sweden, even 3 times in Slovakia and elsewhere in the world. And when I was diplomat, when I was chargé d'affaires, or let's say ambassador to Norway, so I went skiing, cross-country skiing with my family. And then I thought this would be maybe what I started to write, a poem in the style of Tranströmer. So it became a kind of Tranströmer poem, so I dedicated it to him. He read it when he was still alive and appreciated very much. Scene in the Snow for Thomas Tranströmer. It stopped snowing. The branches of the firs release the extra load. In front of you, a fresh ski track that vanishes in the valley. Nameless terrain, Jailo, Tatras, Westeros region, moon, not a living soul around. Your breath keeps you on track. Cosmic silence. The swoosh of the skis, the thumping of your hearts in your temples, then, behind the clouds, an outline of the blue planet, the one you know from the maps. And you realize in horror, this track, which makes you ski ever so easier, was left by the narrow skis of your earthly life. So now there will be, I think, 2 poems, quite long poems that I have written in these 2 years. They are about my brother family, about the 20th century, which is the 20th century of my father, of my mother, of myself, starting with the birth of my father, 1900, how would we say, in 1900, yeah, and closing with the death of my brother in the year 2000. It is, as I say, a kind of history, and this particular poem deals with the transport of my grandparents from the camp Terezin to Auschwitz, Birkenau. I have never met them. I know them only from from few photographs, and I imagine that this would be maybe an occasion where I could be with them and that they would feel my presence. And it's very difficult to make it in a poem, so I try to go through the physics, through the quant physics and the quarks and so on. So you will encounter things like quark and the space. How do we call it when the space is like Einstein predicted that it would be curved, that it would be curved. So this is and then of course the time is doing its miracles. So this is a poem about it. And I will read it in Slovak. It's unfortunately translated only into Italian and Swedish until now. Október 1944, Terezín, Brezinka. Som dnes 5 rokov starší než dedo Emil vo chvíli, keď ho moja mama obíme pri postlkaných doskách, po ktorých má aj s babičkou Amáliou vojsť do surovej tmy vagóna pre dobytok. Čo ešte stihli dcére povedať? Eriko, my sa tam už nejak o sebe postaráme, všude sa najdou dobří lidé, čo vedeli, čo tušili. Chvíľa taká ťažká, že zakrivuje časopriestor a dovoluje mi byť 4 roky pred vlastným narodením, byť osudovo pritom. Dívam sa na nich spoza maminých očí a zároveň som s nimi. Pritajený v jej pritajenom vzliku vidím, ako si vo vagóne my traja sadáme na obité kufre, ktoré im dcéra zohnala v Šlojske, hladkám ich starecké ruky a zužujúcim sa priestorom života, kým stráže nezabuchnú zvonka dvere vozňa, stihnem sa ešte vrátiť do mokrých čiernych očí dievčiny. Som nepatrný kvark. S jeho neurčitosťou treba rátať, nik nevie, kde sa kedy nachádzam. Za to Emil s Amáliou Transport EP Anzahl der Deportierten 1600 opustil Terezín 9.10.1944, dátum za ich menami na stene Pinkasovej synagógy v Prahe. Alebo odišli 6. októbra a vlak zastal až o 3 dní na Osvienčimskej rampe. 2 nepatrné kvarky v mase atómov, kde čas a miesto prežitia vôbec nezávisia od ich vôle. Tu v Brezinke vládne mechanika smrti. Nie tá kvantová, ktorá by aspoň pozorovateľovi dala istú nádej. Tu pozorovateľ vidí ukazovák doktora Mengeleho a na popol sa obrátiš. Vidí, ako ich nákladné auto odváža k sprchám. Vidí 2 starých, nahých ľudí, Adama a Evu, pred bránou posledného súdu. Ale čo držia v dlaniach mŕtvu dušu, alebo holubicu s ratolesťou, alebo biele mydlo, to cez slzy a bezmocný pozorovateľ už nevidím. Nič po nich nezostalo, veru nič. Iba mená Emil a Amálie, dedo a babička, mladší než ich vnuk. So now there's a poem about Vatican, so almost about Italy, but I know Vatican and Italy is not the same. I admire Stephen Hawking, and you know, whatever he says, it's for me a kind of miracle, also that he has lived so long. And this is a poem about what he thinks about time and God. And inside the poem, you will find also some verses about my daughter, who was born in the same year, and it's something about her. And it's again, I use the language of the physics, of the quantum physics. 1981, Vatikán, Hawking o Bohu a iných záhadách. Hlas ochrnutého vedca syntetizovaný na spôsob fantasy a vesmírnych vojen hovorí monotónne: vieme o vesmíre všetko od veľkého tresku, poznáme každé jeho štádium. Nikde nie je miesto pre Boha, pre veľké zázraky a činy. Ani pre ten, že ešte žijem, že pohybom očných svalov smiem roztáčať toto bohorúhacké koleso, ktoré sa ženie k zatrateniu či k pravde. Boh, diabol, anjeli, démoni, vynachádzavá ľudská nevedomosť, ich stvorila v dobe, keď život na zemi 1000-násobne presahoval človeka. Slnko a nočná obloha, túžba vysvetliť nevysvetliteľné. Keď Galilei povedal, že zem sa krúti, takmer ho to stálo život. Mám odvolať, čo som tvrdil, že Boh mohol existovať jedine mimo času, teda pred veľkým treskom. Vatikán, vedci hovoria o prapočiatku, pápež varuje, stvorenie to dielo Božie neslobodno skúmať. Hawking, vesmír je, nemá hranice, nemá počiatok ani koniec. Zákon gravitácie mu umožnil stvoriť samého seba z ničoho. Na čo tu teda ešte ruku Božiu? Je apríl, dcéra prichádza na svet, vieš dobre odkiaľ a predsa sa klaniaš tomu zázraku. Milióny minút ťa bude sprevádzať jej svetlo na obežnej dráhe života. 1000 dní, kým dosiahne na kľučku a vojde zvedavá do tvojho mikrovesmíru s neviditeľnými kvárkmi a osudmi, kde spomienka, sen a slová načarbané na kus papiera vzdorujú entropii. Dievčatko, povedz, kde medzi nami dvomi sa rozpína tá tajúplná temná hmota, čo drží pokope zhluky galaxií. Dokáže vari na mikromyhy sveta oživiť našich mŕtvych, drží ich stále s nami pokope. Steven, drží nás pokope tento dosiaľ neobjavený zákon bytia, alebo ruka Božia tápajúca v tmách, jeho a nášho nevedomia. Kto, Albert, vlastne hrá s nami kocky? František, už si od neho dostal SMS? Správu môjho stvoriteľa, smeje sa hlas vedca na invalidnom vozíku, hlas, ktorý mu nepatrí. Späť za mŕtvými, takto putovať sa nedá. Múrom smrti neprenikneš. Keby sme to však zvládli a pochopili, ako funguje kvantové multiverzum, smeje sa Steven a vstáva z vozíka, rád by som popíjal Dom Perignon z Marilyn a pretancoval s ňou celú noc. Lebo ženy, to je najväčšia záhada na svete, smeje sa a tancuje jednou nohou tu a druhou už v inom univerze. So Marilyn Monroe is one of my objects that I like so much. I wrote a theater play on her tragical death. So I read some 30 books about her and about her death. So Dom Perignon was the champagne that she liked most. And Stephen Hawking said somewhere that if there were the possibility to meet somebody from the former life, that he would like to dance with Marilyn. So it's a fact. And this is also a fact when you read the remarks. No? Maybe first the remarks. Yeah, no, not this. Yeah, this is the answer of our feminists. And that was one on one once on a poster, and there was this, read my lips, no, sexual contact without consent is a crime. My daughters do not like this poem. Even when I read it several times in Slovakia, every time there were some young ladies coming with some objections. So please, if you have some objections and want to talk to me, so later we can discuss it. So I will read it in Slovak. Read my lips. Ty, ktorá žiješ s nescelenou ranou, čítaj, čo vravia moje pery. Áno. Ty, čo si chorá, lebo chcem, čítaj, čo vravia pery, blčím. Ty, ktorá s vlčím jazykom, čítaj, čo vravia pery, som. Ty, ktorá rovno s Pánom Bohom, čítaj, čo vravia pery, mlčím. Ty, ktorá nemáš na výber, čítaj, čo vravia pery, ber. Ty, ktorá chladom, klamom mučíš, čítaj, čo vravia na dne mora. Čítaj mi oči, čítaj pery, vyletí anjel s čiernym perím.